we see division, corruption, and injustice. These issues can seem insurmountable, but through prayer, we can seek divine intervention and guidance. We can ask for wisdom for our leaders, justice for the oppressed, and healing for our communities. Prayer allows us to bring our concerns before God and trust that He is working behind the scenes to bring about His perfect will. It's easy to feel helpless, but we are not. We have a powerful tool at our disposal that can make a real difference. Prayer is not just a passive activity, it is an active engagement with the divine. It is a way to partner with God in bringing about His purposes on earth. When we pray, we are joining forces with the Creator of the universe to bring about change. We have a powerful weapon at our disposal: prayer. It is a tool that can break down barriers, heal wounds, and bring about reconciliation. It is a means of accessing divine power and wisdom, and it is available to all who seek it. Through prayer, we can find the strength to face our challenges, the wisdom to make the right decisions, and the peace to endure difficult times. God calls us to pray for our leaders. This is a vital aspect of our spiritual responsibility. Our leaders, whether they are in government, business, or community organizations, carry a heavy burden. They make decisions that affect the lives of many, and they need our prayers for wisdom, guidance, and strength. By praying for our leaders, we are supporting them in their roles and asking God to work through them for the good of all. He calls us to intercede on their behalf, to lift them up in prayer, and to seek His guidance and wisdom for their lives and decisions. This is not just a suggestion, it is a command. We are called to stand in the gap for our leaders, to pray for their well-being, and to ask God to give them the wisdom and discernment they need to lead effectively. This is not a suggestion, it is a command, and it is a command with a promise. When we pray for our leaders, we are not just fulfilling a duty, we are participating in God's plan for our world. We are aligning ourselves with His purposes and asking Him to intervene in the affairs of our nation and our world. And it is a command with a promise. When we pray, God hears us. He's attentive to our prayers and responds to them in His perfect timing and according to His perfect will. Our prayers have the power to bring about change, to open doors, and to create opportunities for God's will to be done on earth as it is in heaven. When we pray, God hears us. He moves in response to our prayers. This is a profound truth that should encourage us to pray with confidence and persistence. We may not always see immediate results, but we can trust that God is at work, orchestrating events and circumstances for His glory and our good. He moves in response to our prayers. Our prayers can set in motion a chain of events that lead to transformation and renewal. They can bring about healing, reconciliation, and restoration. They can change hearts and minds, and they can influence the course of history. We can make a difference in our nation and our world through prayer. It is a powerful tool that can bring about change in ways that we cannot even imagine. By committing to pray for our leaders and our nation, we are taking an active role in shaping the future and bringing about God's purposes on earth. We can see God's will be done on earth as it is in heaven. This is the ultimate goal of our prayers, to see God's kingdom come and His will be done. When we pray, we are aligning ourselves with God's purposes and asking Him to bring about His perfect plan for our lives, our nation, and our world. Let's answer the call to action and become a people of prayer, lifting our leaders before the throne of grace. Our prayers matter. They have the power to change the course of history. By committing to pray for our leaders, we are taking a stand for righteousness, justice, and peace. We are partnering with God to bring about His purposes on earth, lifting our leaders before the throne of grace. Our prayers matter. They have the power to change the course of history. When we pray, We are not just speaking words into the air. We are engaging with the creator of the universe, who has the power to bring about change. Our prayers can influence decisions, open doors, and create opportunities for God's will to be done. They have the power to change the course of history. Let us be diligent in our prayers, persistent in our faith, and unwavering in our commitment to seek God's guidance and wisdom for our leaders. Together, we can make a difference and see God's kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. The Bible is clear about our responsibility to pray for those in authority. This is not just a suggestion or a good idea. It is a command from God Himself. The act of praying for our leaders is deeply rooted in the teachings of the Scriptures and is an essential part of our spiritual duty as believers. In 1 Timothy chapter 2, verses 1 and 2, the Apostle Paul writes to Timothy, urging him to make supplications, prayers, intercessions, and thanksgivings for all people, especially for kings and all who are in high positions. This directive is clear and unequivocal. We are instructed to pray for kings and all who are in authority, regardless of our personal feelings towards them. This means praying for their wisdom, their health, their decision-making, and their ability to lead with integrity and justice. The purpose of these prayers is that we may lead a peaceful and quiet life, godly and dignified in every way. A society where leaders are guided by divine wisdom is one where peace and tranquility can flourish, allowing individuals to live out their faith openly and honorably. This command is not limited to those who agree with our leaders or their policies. It extends to all leaders, regardless of their political affiliation or personal beliefs. Our prayers should be inclusive, covering every leader who holds a position of power and influence. It is a universal call to intercede for all who hold positions of power. This includes local government officials, national leaders, and even international figures. By doing so, we acknowledge the vast and interconnected nature of leadership and governance. Why does God command us to pray for our leaders? The answer lies in the nature of leadership itself. Leadership is a challenging and often thankless task that requires immense strength, wisdom, and resilience. Because He knows that leadership is a difficult and demanding calling. Leaders are constantly faced with complex decisions that can have far-reaching consequences. They need divine guidance to navigate these challenges effectively. Leaders face immense pressure and temptation. The weight of responsibility can be overwhelming, and the temptation to compromise on principles can be strong. Our prayers can provide them with the strength to withstand these pressures and remain true to their calling. They need God's wisdom and guidance to make righteous decisions that benefit their people. Without divine intervention, leaders may struggle to find the right path and make choices that align with God's will.